I've been a professional luthier for, well, dang near 40 years. And I've seen a lot of stuff. And most people are kind of actually ruining their guitars without even knowing it. Without much further ado, here's 5 things that most guitarists do that will ruin their guitar. The first thing that most people do wrong, they tie their strings improperly. And I'm not talking about like the internet debate about do you put this many wraps on it or what have you. What I see a lot of is the loop slipping and slinging through, creating what I call the weed whacker effect. This is one of the most scary ones that I've had in the shop in quite some time. You can see that this loop has slid all the way up to the top of the bridge. The only reason it hasn't let go is because there was a knot tied inside of it. Had that not been there, this would have slipped right out. I had the distinct privilege of seeing that go. So check out this video about how to tie your strings on your guitar to prevent this. All right, that's really something bad. The second major mistake that I see a lot of people make, which this is far more critical than even the strings, is not keeping the humidity level for your guitar right. I know that we can go onto the major search engine and look up to see what is right for your guitar. But the problem is that guitars travel and various luthiers have what's ideal for them. So I have a friend who lives in the desert Southwest. He firmly believes in building at 35% relative humidity because that's what he can maintain. But the problem is that if it comes up to my area, which is, it's currently raining outside, our humidity is a little bit higher, which doesn't necessarily sound bad because humidity is good, right? Well, you also cause compression fractures inside of the wood, and it doesn't go back. On the converse side, the Housers like to build around 62 to 63%. You thought I was going to say something else? Anyways, those guitars, in most cases, are a little bit under humidified, and the frets are always poking off. You want to keep that in mind with whatever humidity pack you use. Now, I'm personally a big fan of the D'Addario 2-way or the Boveda humidity system. It's the same thing, guys. Boveda makes it for D'Addario, so as long as you're using the right humidity pack for your guitar, that will work very well and prevent cracks from happening. Now, if a guitar gets too dry, it will crack. That said, guitars will give you signs before they go. If you see the back dipping in between each brace, it's too dry. It may not have cracked yet, but you're putting a lot of stress on it. Likewise, you'll feel the edge of the frets poking back out at you. And, you know, I know that a lot of makers say that they just file it off, or repairmen will say that they just file it off, and it's what keeps them going in the winter. The problem is that as that ebony comes back out again, you have now lost your reference point to where the proper humidity is for that guitar. So for example, I'm feeling this one, and I know that this guitar has been at 50% relative humidity for quite some time, and I can still feel the frets poking off. So that tells me that this guitar wanted to be at maybe 55 or 60%, at which point this guitar has cracked rather badly, and the back has detached itself from the braces because this cracked so violently due to a lack of humidity. The third major thing that is ruining your guitars, and this isn't necessarily ruining your guitars, but it's ruining the sound of your guitar. It's your string choice. And yes, I know that there's a lot of string companies out there. You've got D'Addario, Optima, Hanebach, Knobloch, Savarez, and I can keep going on, but for the sake of time, I'll just list those guys. Using the wrong string, and in my opinion, this is one of the right strings, will change the sound of your guitar. One of the fun things that we can do is we can change what we use where we use it. So, for example, if you like carbon strings, that's fine, but you don't like the shrillness of the E, but you use carbon strings, you can put a nylon first string on there. That really helps round out the sound, but giving the guitar the presence that you want with the carbon. If you like a crisp bass, and you like the sound of certain trebles, you can pick and choose for that. But just know that the longer you use an instrument, with a certain string choice, and if it's not the right string choice for you, that guitar will learn to make those sounds. So sometimes it takes a little bit of time for the guitar to realize its full potential of sound between the two string choices. Change your strings often, change them well, and don't be afraid to try various things. I don't believe that any guitar is made for one brand of string, but sometimes a certain brand works a lot better than others. So try it out, find out for yourself, keep a log. It's time consuming, a little bit expensive, I get it, but if you want to optimize the guitar that you already have without spending a bunch of extra money on a new one, it's a lot cheaper and easier. In addition to finding the right set of strings, seems like you found the right video. And if you found this helpful, I really would appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, and did all that other YouTube-y stuff that I guess I have to ask for. Because I really enjoy doing this, but your support really helps make a lot of this possible. And I don't know if you can see what's going on behind me, but this is because of you guys, and I genuinely appreciate it. I'm running around like crazy, and it's the best thing ever. Back to the video. The fourth mistake that you're probably making, and I'm not going to say that you have to do this all the time, but I think most people neglect this one, is not getting your guitar set up properly. That doesn't mean that you have to get it set up once a year or once every 6 months or every 2 years. Sometimes having a professional's eyes on it is pretty easy to do. It doesn't matter how cheap your guitar is or how expensive your guitar is, it can always benefit. I mean, this is a very expensive guitar, and if you know, you know. I'm doing a full setup on this, including new frets, because the frets were a little bit worn, they were a little bit on the buzzing side, and they were a softer alloy, so by increasing the hardness of the fret, we're able to increase the quality of sound that this guitar will have, all through just a simple setup. Well, this one's not a simple setup because it's a refret, but most of the time, a little bit of work on the saddle, a little bit of work on the nut, and you're right as rain. And sometimes a little polish on the frets doesn't hurt either, and it looks pretty good. The fifth mistake that a lot of guitarists do, and this is an extreme case, is the home repair, okay? Whenever I have somebody call me up and say, hey, I've got a crack on my guitar, and I tried to stabilize it. This guitar was brought in because somebody said that they tried to stabilize the repair until I could get to it. Please don't. The best thing that you can do is to not touch it and contact a professional. Because I'm sure we've all seen an internet guru do stuff on how to fix a guitar. It may seem easy, because I know I watched those videos as well. Sometimes there's a lot more to it than actually meets the eye. Don't necessarily fix your guitar at home. You can do little things like adjusting the action, adjusting the saddle, but when you get into a crack like this, I don't recommend tackling this one by yourself, and it's best left to a professional. We have 5 mistakes that just about every single guitarist makes, you know, between attaching the strings, improper humidity control, even not choosing the right strings and doing that for quite a long time, doing your own repairs, etc. Whatever you do, if you've done any of those, chances are you have. I know I have. Don't fret. We can, sorry for the pun. Don't fret. We can take care of it. We can fix the mistakes that have happened. And by golly, I've had to do quite a lot of these. Except for Gorilla Glue. That I can't undo. That is just what it is. So if you found this helpful, again, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. And I guess with that said, I'll see you next time.